The rain lashed my face. My fingers trembled, barely clinging to the jagged edge of the cliff. Below me, 100 feet of air separated my unborn child and me from certain death. Yishin. Please, pull me up. I looked up at my husband. Gu Yichin, the man I'd loved for 7 years. His hand hovered over mine, so close. But his eyes, cold, unreadable. And beside him, her, Bai Yue. The woman he said was just a friend. She stood behind him, cradling a twisted ankle, whimpering like a fragile doll. Yichin, I sobbed, my abdomen seizing. My baby. She was kicking, frantic. She's moving. Our baby's scared. Gu Yichin looked down at me. The man, who once whispered sweet promises into my ear, tightened his jaw. Li Qian, let go. A pause. My world froze. Narrator, shocked, trembling. What? Bai Yue's hurt. I have to protect her. She's the one He didn't finish. He didn't have to. His hand retreated and I fell. The world spun. I saw the gray sky, the rain, the outline of his back turning away. I hit the rocks. Pain tore through me like lightning, white-hot, agonizing. My arms instinctively cradled my belly. I whispered her name, the one I had, never spoken aloud. Xiaoxiao. And then, darkness. But death was not an end. Somewhere beyond pain, I floated. A warmth surrounded me, gentle, reassuring. A voice, not one I recognized, echoed inside. You died unjustly. Your time was stolen. Do you want another chance? I didn't hesitate. Yes. I gasped, my eyes flying open. The ceiling above me, familiar. I sat upright, heart thundering. This was my old bedroom, in the Gu family villa. The calendar, on the dresser, June 12th, my engagement banquet. The day Gu Yichin knelt with a diamond ring and a photographer's flash blinded me with lies. I ran to the mirror, touched my face, my belly, flat again. No bruises, no blood. Alive. I was alive. Tears filled my eyes, but not from joy. Narrator, furious whisper. Gu Yichin, Bai Yue. This time, it's your turn to fall. I stood on the stage again. Same pink gown, same red roses, same smug fiancé beside me, holding my hand like I was his prize. But this time, I wasn't smiling like a fool. I remembered what he would do. I remembered his betrayal. Gu Yichin leaned close and whispered, "Nervous, baby?" I turned to him. My smile was sweet, weaponized. Not at all, just savoring this beautiful lie of a day. He blinked, confused. Bai Yue approached in her usual white chiffon, pretending to be surprised by the engagement. Her voice trembled with fake humility. "Sister Qian, you look so beautiful today. I almost didn't recognize you." "Yes," I replied coldly. "It's easy to forget someone when you're busy chasing their fiancé." The silence around us was deafening. A few guests turned, murmuring. Bai Yue's face paled. I turned away, sipping my champagne like I hadn't just lit the first match. That night, I sat before my old diary. My fingers hovered over the pages filled with love letters and doodles, all devoted to Gu Yichin. I tore the pages out. I was reborn, not to love again, but to destroy. I opened my secret drawer. Inside, I found the old USB drive I never used in my last life. The one with information about the Gu Corporation's shady contracts, things I had blindly deleted before. Not this time. Gu Yichin had no idea. The woman he murdered had come back. He killed me once. He buried me without guilt. He wept fake tears beside Bai Yue, while I lay in a hospital morgue with our daughter never taking her first breath. But now, I've returned, and I'm not the woman he betrayed. I am the storm he never saw coming. The next morning, sunlight filtered through silk curtains, but it no longer warmed me. Not like before. Before I died. Before I bled on jagged stone for a man who let me fall. I sat at the vanity, brushing my hair slowly, watching the reflection of a woman who used to believe in fairy tales, a woman who smiled at lies. She was gone. I'm not your little bride anymore, Gu Yichen, and today, the game begins. I slipped through the old corridors to a door I hadn't opened in years. Inside, Aunt May, the only person who ever loved me like a daughter. Aunt May, I whispered. I need your help. Her eyes widened when she saw me. Miss Chien, you look pale. Are you sick? I took her hands. No, but I remember everything. She stiffened. Everything? The accident, Gu Yichen, the betrayal, the child. She covered her mouth, tears forming. You remember? From before? I nodded. I've come back, Aunt May, and I won't waste this second chance. In my last life, I ignored too much, but now I was a hunter. A ghost in the machine, Gu Yichen's name, Bai Yue's charities, offshore transfers, illegally obtained land titles. The more I searched, the more their lies unfolded. Gu Yichen's public image was built on glass, and I was the stone about to shatter. Yet I created a new email, Red Phoenix Proton Mail, to a rival reporter. Interested in what Gu Yichen's hiding? I have proof, but wait for the fall. And then, I hit send. Gu Yichen invited me for lunch, a public show of affection, a performance. He reached for my hand across the table. Babe, you were cold yesterday. Are you upset about Bai Yue coming? To the banquet? I smiled. Why would I be upset? She looked so happy, limping around in her fake injury. He frowned. You think she faked that? I don't think. I know. His face twitched. That's right, Gu Yichen. Panic. Let it sink in. This version of Li Qian isn't sweet anymore. That night, I wore a crimson dress. Silk. Fitted. Commanding. Whispers followed me as I walked in alone. Then he appeared. Tall. Sharp-suited, distant eyes. Mo Chen. The man Gu Yichen always hated. In my past life, I barely spoke to him, but I remembered his voice screaming my name as I fell. He had been there, reaching for me when Gu Yichen let go. Miss Li, Mo Chen, greeted coolly. You came alone? I smiled. I prefer being the most dangerous one in the room. He smirked, intrigued. And Gu Yichen? Watching us from the other side, fists clenched. I entered the fitting room as Bai Yue posed in a white wedding dress. She flinched at the sight of me. Qian, what a surprise. I hear you want a dress like mine. She blinked. I respect you, sister. I walked behind her, tightened the corset laces until she gasped. Then why did you kiss my fiancé behind the roses at the engagement banquet? She froze. Next time, Bai Yue, don't touch what isn't yours, unless you're ready to lose everything. I left her shaking. Her mask was cracking. He called me to his study that night, closed the door. Chen, you've changed. So. Have you? You just hide it better. He narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? I took a sip of his drink. You lie better now. You protect her more obviously. And you push people a little too easily off cliffs. He choked. What? I turned to him slowly, my smile dagger sharp. Nothing, dear. Just a figure of speech. I left him pale and speechless. Let the guilt rot you from the inside. I hadn't stepped into this room since my rebirth. A small nursery, painted stars. On the ceiling, a stuffed bunny on the shelf. I sank to the floor, clutching the soft toy to my chest. I couldn't save you, but I remember. Tears fell silently. I'll never forget your name, Xiaoxiao. I swear. I will destroy the ones who stole your life. And then, I lit a single candle and whispered a lullaby. Not goodbye. Just not yet. The world believed. I was still Li Qian, the bride, the socialite, the fool. But I was a ghost with memories sharper than knives. Gu Yichen's lies were cracking. Bai Yue's halo, tainted. The trap had been laid. Now it was time to start closing it. Most believed Bai Yue lived in luxury. But I followed her car one evening and discovered otherwise. The so-called beloved adopted daughter of the Gu family lived in a dingy apartment. I watched from the shadows as she snapped at a delivery. Man slammed the door and sat in the dark. So this is your real life, Bai Yue, built on lies. The glass facade was cracking. It wasn't just her smile that was fake. Her entire existence was narrator, cold whisper. I took pictures. I recorded her shouting on the phone. These seeds of truth, I'd plant them at just the right time. Mo Chen sat beside me, sipping a drink, eyes always scanning. You're playing a dangerous game. Good. It means I'm getting close. He turned to me. Why him, Qian? Why did you ever love Gu Yichen? I paused. Because I believed in dreams. Because he smiled when I was broken. But aloud I said, because I was stupid. He laughed softly. You're not anymore. He leaned closer. And when you finally destroy him, what happens then? Then I rebuild. Alone or not, I walk out whole. But even as I said it, something in his gaze lingered, a promise or a threat. I arrived at the charity gala in a gown of midnight velvet, only to find reporters swarming like vultures. Miss Qian, is it true you had a mental breakdown? Last year? Do you resent Bai Yue's growing popularity? My stomach tightened. Bai Yue stood at the center, smiling sweetly, tears shining in her eyes. I never wanted to replace Sister Qian. I only filled in when she disappeared. She's the true lady of the house. Lies. Carefully crafted lies. And she made me sound like a jealous madwoman. I turned to the camera with a gentle smile. Don't worry. You'll see the truth soon enough. And I meant every word. I stormed into Gu Yichen's office. Did you feed that to the media? I demanded. He looked up, confused. What are you talking about? You're letting her destroy me again, one whisper at a time. He stood, tense. Qian, I didn't approve anything. She acted on her own. Then leash your dog. His expression darkened. Watch your words. I took a slow step forward. You watched me die, Yichen. 8 months pregnant. And now you flinch over insults? His mouth opened, then shut. Because he knew I was right. Because he knew. Deep down. I remembered. Aunt May handed me the old burner phone. I recorded it the night of the accident. I held it like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Hit play. Bai Yue. Audio. She's too soft, too kind. She'll forgive anything. But if she falls, you'll catch her, right? Gu Yishen. Audio. She won't fall, and if she does, I'll think of something. Bai Yue. Audio. Laughing. Good. Because her baby's in the way. My throat closed. My hands shook. They knew I was pregnant, they knew, and they let me fall. This wasn't betrayal. This was murder. I brought the recording to Mo Chen. His jaw tensed as he listened. You want revenge? He said flatly. No, I want justice. He poured 2 drinks. I can leak this, but if we go public, it'll destroy more than just their reputations. I'm counting on it. He stared at me. Once this starts, there's no going back. I met his gaze, firm. I died once. I'm not afraid of ruin. Not theirs. Not mine. He raised his glass. To rebirth, then, we drank, and war officially began. The next day, the audio leaked online. It went viral in minutes. Gu Yichin plotted his wife's death. Bai Yue's jealousy exposed. 8 months pregnant. How could they? Bai Yue's PR team rushed to clean the mess, but she cracked first. At her press conference, she burst into tears. I didn't mean to. It was just words. I never wanted her to die. And that was her biggest mistake. The world turned. Sympathy became disgust. And Gu Yichin? He didn't show his face for 3 days. I returned to the grave with lilies. The stone was still too small, the earth too still. We did it, Chao Xiao. The world knows now. The wind whispered through the trees. I couldn't hold you in life. But in death, I promise no one will forget you. I placed the final photograph, Bai Yue screaming on camera, at the grave. And for the first time in this life, I smiled. Revenge is never clean. It scorches. It burns. It takes everything with it. But some fires are necessary, because from ashes I will rise. And next, I make Gu Yichin beg for what he once threw away. 3 days. That's how long it took for Gu Yichin's empire to begin cracking. A leaked audio scandal. Investors pulling out. Netizens demanding accountability. He called for a press conference, desperate to control the narrative. Gu Yichin stood in front of cameras, eyes hollow. It was never my intention to hurt my wife or our child, but the internet doesn't forgive murder. As the stream rolled on, real-time comments exploded. Too late. You pushed her and saved your mistress. Karma's here. I watched from Mo Chen's office, wine in hand, heart steady. Gu Yichin was learning. Betrayal comes with interest. They said Bai Yue broke down on the 3rd night. Panic attacks, hallucinations, screaming my name in her sleep. She's back. She's haunting me. She's not supposed to be alive. The nurses sedated her. I didn't visit. I sent lilies instead, black ones, to the memory of who you pretended to be. Let her rot in her self-made madness. I had bigger targets. He opened the door in silence. Gaunt, unshaven, no tie. I stepped inside like a stranger. I dropped the file on the coffee table. Our marriage is already dead. Let's make it legal. He stared down at the documents. No. You're only doing this because you're angry. You're wrong. I'm doing it because I'm finally free. He reached for me. Chen, please. I made a mistake. I didn't know she would push me off a ledge. Silence. You didn't know? Or you didn't care? He had no answer. Only regret. Far too late. I kept the room untouched. The tiny crib, the rocking chair, a soft bear in the corner. My hand grazed the pale blue blanket. Xiao Xiao, you were loved. Even if your father didn't protect you, I will honor you. I knelt by the crib and whispered promises to the child that never opened his eyes. And then I stood. Because I couldn't cry anymore. I had more to destroy. I burst in with good news. Gu Yichin was forced to resign. Investors appointed an acting CEO. Mo Chen looked up slowly. I know, I'm the acting CEO. I froze. What? He stood, wine swirling in his glass. I bought out 12% of Gu Corp stock last year. Quietly. Waiting. Waiting for this? He nodded. For your rebirth. For your vengeance. I stared at him, betrayed but awed. You helped me because you hated him? He stepped closer. No, Chan. I helped you because I loved you. Even before he married you. His confession hung heavy in the air. Love, not pity, not partnership. Love. I turned away. You're using this as a game, another power play. He grabbed my wrist, firm but gentle. No, I waited years. I watched him waste you. But I never touched, never interfered. I stared into his eyes, dark, intense, unflinching. Then I kissed him. Soft, sudden, silent, and pulled away. Don't wait anymore. But don't expect me to trust easily, he smiled. Tragic. I never do. He stood at the edge. Same spot where he once said vows. Same spot. He once pushed me away. Qian, he said softly, do you believe I loved you at all? No. Not even a little? If you did, you wouldn't have picked her that night. He turned, pain in every line of his face. You're stronger now. Cold. Smarter. I had to be. You killed the soft version of me. I stepped forward, handed him a pen, signed the divorce, and disappear. He signed. And just like that, Gu Yichen, my husband, ceased to exist. They used to call me Mrs. Gu. Now I stand on my own. I am Li Qian, CEO of LXQ International. Flashbulbs burst like fireworks. No man made me. No family saved me. I built this, brick by brick, scar by scar. I looked directly into the camera lens. To the women who've been betrayed, silenced, discarded. Let this be your answer. I smiled. You can rise, and you can win. Applause thundered, and my rebirth was complete. Mo Chen flipped open his burner phone. Yes, everything is in place. Gu Yichen won't recover. Bai Yue is handled. A pause. Then a voice from the other end. And Li Qian? He smiled, slow and dangerous. She thinks she won. Let her. For now. He ended the call and stared at the city below, a devil wrapped in silk. 2 years. That's how long it took to rebuild everything they tried to destroy. Li Qian was a name now whispered with respect and fear. But success casts a long shadow, and behind it, betrayal grows quietly. CEO Li, we just received word. The Gu family is filing a legal motion. They want to reclaim their assets. I didn't flinch. Let them try. Let the ghosts come crawling. I didn't come this far to bow again. I trusted him. Mo Chen, my partner, my anchor. But trust is the most dangerous illusion. You knew the Gu family would fall. You bought out their shares. You profited off my pain. On the screen, he met with one of Gu Yichen's uncles, smiling. You played both sides. I stood in the dark room, fists clenched. Was it ever about justice? Or was I just the bait in his perfect revenge plan? He poured me wine like nothing happened. Like nothing. You came to yell at me? No, I replied. I came to bury the last lie. I threw the USB drive on the table. Surveillance, your meetings, your deals. He didn't blink. I never hid what I am, Chan. No, but you hid what I meant to you. He stepped closer, eyes serious. You were never a pawn to me. Then why use me? Because power demands sacrifice. You taught me that. And love? He paused. That I never learned, until it was too late. The vote was simple. Remove Li Qian as CEO and replace her with the mysterious new investor. Guess who that turned out to be? Mo Chen. He walked in like a king. But I stood and smiled. Before this vote proceeds, I'd like to present the leaked transcripts of Mo Chen's financial crimes in 3 nations. Gasps filled the room. I'm not just a woman scorned. I'm a woman prepared. His face didn't change, but I saw the fury flash behind his mask. I had outplayed him. Again. I stood at the window as they dragged him into the rain. His empire, seized, his secrets, public. His love, too broken to believe anymore. He looked back once. Just once. I didn't wave, didn't blink, only whispered, "You should have loved me, not used me." It was dated months ago, written in Mo Chen's hand. If you're reading this, I've lost, and you've won, as I always hoped you would. I never wanted your pain, only your strength, but I was too much a monster to deserve you. Don't forgive me. Just remember me as the man who loved you, even if wrongly. Tears blurred the words. Even villains, it seemed, had hearts. I brought lilies again, but this time, I sat beside the grave. Xiao Xiao, Mommy kept her promise. I didn't let them win. The wind rustled the trees. Somewhere deep inside, I felt warmth again. The ache would never vanish. But I'd made them pay, and now, finally, I could let go. I left the city, sold my shares, cut ties. The world would remember Li Chan as a storm in heels. But now, I was just a woman, breathing, healing. A gentle knock at the door. I turned. A man stood there, tall, kind smile, familiar, but not haunting. "You dropped your book by the water," he said, handing it over. I smiled, lips finally free of pain. "Thank you." And just like that, a new story began. They tried to bury me, not knowing I was a seed. They broke me, not knowing I'd rebuild from ash. They pushed me toward death, and I came back to bury them.